I got nothing in my pocket.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except for Christmas, of course, but it is WNBA playoff time. The matchups are set, and I'm about to take you through just a whole playoff preview, top to bottom, starting at the matchup of number one, the Las Vegas Aces versus number 8, Chicago Sky. Now, this might be, when I tell you this might be one of the best playoffs in general because the matchups are just like, you don't know what's going to happen. This might be the only matchup where you can pretty much assume what's going to happen. Las Vegas in a head-to-head challenge with Chicago have won 3 of the games. And honestly, they've dominated in almost every statistical category. Points in the paint, they outscore them 47-30. The only thing, though, Chicago Sky, when it comes to 3-point percentage, Chicago in their head-to-head matchups has actually shot 40% to Vegas's 33. But everything else, 98 points per game against each other to 87. Vegas in this matchup just looks like, Vegas is matching up with anyone is going to be a nightmare. But you got to really credit Chicago, though, because Chicago, it was a dogfight to get into the playoffs. Chicago had to beat a very, very, very tough Indiana Fever team. Chicago had to win another game to get in. I mean, it was LA and Chicago. Honestly, us, LA, Chicago, Minnesota, we were all battling it out. So I just want to make sure I shout out Chicago for how they've been playing. Shouts to Kalia Copper playing well since post WNBA All-Star break. So, shouts to Chicago, but right now, Vegas, they just seem to be on a mission. And so then the next matchup, we're going to go to the number 2 team. Now, you would normally think when you see a number 2 team, which is the New York Liberty, when you see them matched up with a number 7, which in this case is the Washington Mystics, your initial thoughts are probably going to be the same as the number 1 versus 8. This is probably going to be a not so hard series. Yeah, right, when it comes to this one. So you might not have been paying attention, but the last game of the season, Brittany Sykes, who I call Slime, that's my homie, she hit a game winner to beat the New York Liberty, which ended up tying their series 2-2 in a head-to-head challenge. So they played 4 times and they split it down the middle. New York has won 2 and the Mystics have won 2. So you may be asking, like, how in the world? Well, the Mystics have had really an unfortunate season, but you can't tell other than their, I would say, obviously their number 7 ranking, but you can't tell because they was 5, 6, 7 throughout the whole season, just in the thick of things. But they had injuries in Elena Deladon, former MVP. Shakira Austin had injuries. Ariel Atkins, that's 3 starters for a large portion of the year. 3 of your starters were not available for a large portion of your year. Yet and still, you not only made the playoffs, but you're sitting kind of pretty. Now, I say that, and I'm not, when I say sitting pretty, it ain't all sweet in a sense of, I'm saying sitting pretty because the Mystics know that they are capable of beating the New York Liberty. They're actually kind of confident. Some players have said expect an upset. I'm not going to go that far because the New York Liberty, let's get into them. Like the New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu is actually the leading scorer in the head-to-head matchups with the Mystics. So that's just a side note. But we know that there's Stewie, and we know Jonquel Jones and Benaja Laney. We know that this team is built for tough. The New York Liberty are built to make a playoff championship run. It just so happens it's unfortunate because you work all year long. You are competing with the Las Vegas Aces all year to where even down the stretch at the end of the year, we really didn't even know who was going to be the number 1 or 2 team because both of those teams had the ability to be the number 1. So New York ends up being number 2. And what's their reward? They get to play now getting healthy Washington Mystics team. So that's going to be interesting. But like I said, this is going to be one of them playoffs that are going to be fun to watch. Now moving on to the number 3 team in the league, the Connecticut Sun. And honestly, the Connecticut Sun, they kind of like just flown under the radar all season in a sense of we all know they're good. We all know that they're going to do well in the playoffs. We all know that they have MVP caliber player in Alyssa Thomas, who she might even get named MVP. We always know all these things about Connecticut. So Connecticut, even when it came to the playoff push, they never really were in any danger of dropping down to 4th or moving up to 2nd. They just kind of have been the number 3 team planted there, and that's just where they are. So now we're heading into the playoffs, and they're playing a number 6 Minnesota team that it's a little interesting because Minnesota is a team that in the beginning of the season, I don't think a lot of people had Minnesota down as the number 6 team in the league. I don't even know if people had Minnesota making the playoffs, but we've seen, led by Nafisha Collier, that team is ready to go. She's averaging 25 points when they play the Connecticut Sun. DeWanna Bonner's the leading scorer in this head-to-head matchup. She's averaging 17 against the Minnesota Lynx, but Connecticut has won 3-1 in this head-to-head matchup. So, on paper, and that's why I say on paper, because the players got to play the game. So I know that players can change things, but on paper, I mean, Connecticut is just killing it in every category. They outscore the Lynx head to head. Their field goal percentage is better head to head. They have 5 less turnovers head to head. And, it's just everything in every category says that the Connecticut Sun should win this series, but it's going to be a dogfight. And then last but not least, I had to get to us. Whew. All right. So the number 4 team is the Dallas Wings. And let me just start there with the Dallas Wings, because honestly, the Dallas Wings are my pick to go far into the playoffs, other than if they was going to play us. Okay. So the Dallas Wings are one of those teams that they have everything you need. They have a generational talent in Arike Ogunbowale, and you need somebody that can carry a team, that can hit clutch shots, that can just have the ability to go one-on-one, because in the playoffs, the plays are going to break down. Look, when I played for Minnesota, we knew every play that the Los Angeles Sparks were going to run. We knew their whole playbook, and they knew our whole playbook. So it was less about what plays you ran, and it was more about making plays. So you had to figure out how to make a play. So in the playoffs, you need players that can just go out and make a play. Arike Ogunbowale is one of those players that can do that. She's box office. She's Showtime. That's who she is. But that's not all they have. They have Satu, who I think is going to be up for most improved. She's now healthy. She can shoot. She can get to the basket. She can rebound and start the break. They have the bigs in the paint with Tierra McCowan, Kalani Brown, Natasha Howard. I played with her. What up, Tashi? They have that 4 with the motor. That is a scary, scary team. The Dallas Wings are built for it. I'm saying built for it in a sense of, if they make it past us, I just put that little asterisk, if they make it past us, they could really give anybody a run for their money. And I'm talking about the number 1 team in the Las Vegas Aces. I'm talking about the number 2 team in the New York Liberty. They can give anybody a run for their money. And so let me get to my squad, because the Atlanta Dream, man, just put this in perspective. We just basically drafted Ryan Howard as our number 1 draft pick. Now, to get a lottery pick, you got to have not made the playoffs and be one of the bottom teams. So right now, to be sitting here in the playoffs at the number 5 team, listen, I'm feeling good, y'all. Like, I'm feeling good because, first of all, our team fights every single night. So as a fan of the Dream, and even me as just, being a part of the Dream, every night that I go watch us play, there's certain things that I just know. I know we're going to play hard. I know we're going to have a certain level of focus and locked in, because these are the things that Tunisia demands. So it's like, anytime we play anybody, I always feel like we have a chance. I mean, had good games with Vegas. We've had good games with New York. We beat New York. We've beat Connecticut Sun. We've beat the good teams, because on any given night, we're always going to play hard enough to give ourselves a chance. We got some talent too. I'm just setting the table because I know that the Dallas Wings are a good team, but I really do have confidence in our team to play against any team in the league. And so, we got Ryan, we got Big Al, we got, hey, Miss Parker, we got our whole crew. We got the whole crew that's going to go and do what they always do, which is play hard and find a way to stay in the games. And so I'm pulling up, because right now it's Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. And we're getting everything handled, because tomorrow I'm hopping on the PJ with the squad and I'm heading to Dallas, and I'm going to be locked in for game time. So it's exciting times. All the games are going to be on the ESPN networks. Tap in, not just to the Atlanta Dream game that's on Friday at 8:00. Tap in with us, but tap into all the games, man. The WNBA playoffs, I think it's going to be as good as advertised. We got star power. We got marquee matchups. We got everything you need. Get your popcorn. It's going down.